Hey guys, good morning. Thank you for tapping in for some real talk from the heart this morning. We are reading through the Bible twice per year, 7 chapters per day. It's about an hour of reading. We are on our second time through the Bible in 2022, and we are in the Psalms. And our 7 chapters this morning are Psalms 76 through Psalm 82. And our devotion this morning is from Psalm 78. Verses 4 through 8. I want to read these to you. It says, "We will not hide them from their children, telling to the generation to come the praises of Yahweh and his strength and his wonderful works that he has done. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come might know them, the children who would be born, that they may arise and declare them to their children, that they may set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments, and may not be like their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that did not set its heart right, and whose spirit was not faithful to God." This passage this morning really spoke to my heart in this way, that you have this commandment that goes forth, right, for the parents to continue to pour into their children, right, what God has done, with the goal of their children really putting their hope in God, becoming obedient to God, and not repeating the mistakes, right, the failures of the past generations, and having hearts that are set right with God and lives that are lived loyal to God, right? That is the whole purpose of pouring into the generation to come. Now, I want to just say as we get going here that, man, I want to thank you, those of you that are watching this video. I want to thank you for teaching your children about God, about what he has done for you, and his truths, the gospel, right, the Son of God. I want to thank you for that, because I know at times it's not easy. And even in this generation now that's coming through, the days that we are living in, there's so much pulling, right, for our children's attention. And there's so many conflicting messages that our children are receiving, especially if they're, in the public school setting, or maybe you live in a neighborhood where you can teach your kids certain morals and truths at home, but then when they go off to school, they're getting bombarded with different morals, different truths, if you will. And even in the neighborhood, right, kids have different homes that they grow up in, and your kids, right, interact with them, and some of the morals that are being taught in those homes, if we're not careful, they'll carry over onto, right, our kids. And so, but I want to first of all say thank you, parents, man. Thank you, parents who have just decided, right, that, hey, man, I'm going to teach my children about the Lord, and I'm going to teach my children about what he's done for me. Second of all, I want to thank God for all you Sunday school teachers, man. Those of you that are serving in your church, whatever church it is, man, you are teaching in children's ministry and children's church. I mean, I look back on my life, and man, there are many Sunday school teachers, man, that left an indelible mark in my life as far as the gospel and the Lord Jesus Christ. I think of men like Forrest Craig and Leonard Calhoun and Richard Treese, man, and Karen Bates, and and different Sunday school teachers throughout my life. Martha Rodriguez, man, so many throughout the years. And I know that you are leaving that same mark on these young children. And so, man, I want to salute all of you who are teaching in children's ministry. Man, I want to thank you, because, man, you do not know, like, what young child is before you and what God is going to do in their life. Man, you may see, man, the next Billy Graham. Man, you may see, the next, mighty move of God, revival of God, that God will work through a little child that sat before you in Sunday school, and you poured into them the love of Jesus Christ and the truth of the gospel. So, man, salute. Thank you to all you Sunday school teachers out there. And then the next thanks I want to give is for youth workers, man, youth ministry workers, youth pastors, man, youth leaders, those of you that are serving in your church, man, to reach, right, these teenagers. It's an awkward age, man, that middle school, that transitioning into adulthood, into high school, man, and stuff. Hey, yeah, that's a difficult age, and it ain't easy. But I want to salute you. I want to salute you and say thank you, man, for pouring into these young teenagers, because they need that. They need that. I know I needed it in my life. Man, I had some great youth pastors, man, some great guys that poured into my life, man. Brett Johnson, Simeon Waddington. I think of John Franco, man. I think of these other guys that in that period in my life, man, they were speaking truth into my heart. And so, yeah, I fell away for 10 years. But man, what my dad taught me at home about Jesus, what the Sunday school teachers taught me about Jesus, and what my youth pastors taught me about Jesus, hey man, it helped me to come back to the foundation that God had for me. And so, man, I want to salute you and thank you, youth pastors and youth leaders, man, for serving the way you do. The next thing I want to talk about here in this text, man, is that you see here, I want you to see here, it says here that the children who would be born, that they may arise and declare it to their children. It says that they may set their hope in God, that they may set their hope in God. If you and I will get involved, man, if you become a mentor, man, if you become someone who dialogues with these young people and really is prepared to answer their tough questions, just being there with them, you can help to, give them hope, man, because if you and I, right, don't get involved, they're going to grow up hopeless. If we don't teach them about the works of God and show them practically, really, what God has done in our lives, sharing our testimony with them, what God's done with them, they will grow up hopeless, man. And we're living in a hopeless world. You see the suicide rates, man. You see the drug addiction rates, man. These kids are hopeless, man. This generation is hopeless. And you and I need to rise up so that they will rise up and declare it to their children, as it says in this text. We don't want them to repeat the same rebellious, right, stubbornness that the past generations have repeated. In Judges 2, it talks about a generation that came that didn't know the Lord. After Joshua passed off the scene, after the elders passed off the scene, you can read about it in Judges 2. It says a generation came along that did not know the Lord, nor the things that he had done for Israel. Beloved, not on our watch. Not on our watch, man. We as adults, man, we have to do everything possible to make sure that the generation to come, which, by the way, that generation is already here. People will say the next generation. In reality, it's the now generation. They're already here. You and I need to be pouring into those folks, man, because we want them to know the Lord. And we also want them to put their hope in God and obey him, and then pass that on to their generations and their children. But we need to model that, man. We need to model that, because what the world needs is a generation of people whose hearts are set right with God. What this world needs is a generation of people who live their lives faithful and loyal to God. And we model that for the next generation, right? The now generation. We need to model that for them so they look to us and say, hey, look, that's how you do it. That's how you have a heart that's right with God. That's how you live loyal to God. And so I want to challenge you with that this morning. I want to encourage you with that this morning as you read in this text, man. This is a great passage here, Psalm 78, verses 4 through 8. Man, let's really reach this next or this now generation with the gospel of Lord Jesus Christ, so that they in turn will carry on the message and carry on the hope and carry on that heart and that loyalty and pass it on to their children and their children and their children. Hey, listen, before I hop off, man, speaking about youth this morning, speaking about children's ministry this morning and different things, specifically Calvary Chapel Toppenish is going to be hosting a youth conference. It's called the I Am Conference, and it's October 7th and 8th. October 7th and 8th at Calvary Chapel Toppenish, 408 West 6th Avenue, October 7th and 8th. The cost is only $10 per child. It's going to be camping, bonfire, man, messages, worship, some fun activities. It's going down in our church park. We got a newly renovated church park, man. It's all closed off and fenced in. And, man, it's going to be a great time. Please register by September 30th. If you needed more information on how to register, call the church office, 509-865-7972, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 2 p.m., Monday through Thursday. There's someone in the office that will answer the call and get you the information that you need so you can register your youth. This is open to middle school and high school. And so the I Am Youth Conference, Calvary Chapel Toppenish, October 7th and 8th. It's only $10. All right. Hey, man, salute y'all. The Lord loves you. I love you too. Praying for you. Please pray for me. And also pray for the youth, man. Pray for the youth. All right. That God will do a fresh work of revival in that generation. All right. God bless y'all.